Thanks, Linda. Presenting today is just myself and Seamus, and collectively, what brings us all together is that we are members of the committee of the Chemistry Education Association. Seamus is our president, and I'm the secretary. Yeah, so it brings together a number of us because of what the Chemistry Education Association is and stands for. And so I'd just like to start, however, by acknowledging our traditional owners. I'm presenting from the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people, and I pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. So what is or who is the Chemistry Education Association? Obviously, our committee are the people that do the heavy lifting, but our web address is there if you'd like to go and Google it. And if you go and Google it, you'll land on this page. And yeah, it is what it says. We are what we say we are. We're for chemistry teachers. We're here to support chemistry teaching. We're here to support chemistry education. And we're here to support chemistry students and to get them passionate and engaged and involved. And so we offer a number of teacher professional learning opportunities from, we've got some lectures coming up, the November lectures that connect teachers to research both in chemistry education pedagogy and in the actual chemistry research field. And we also tie in with STAV with our VCE chemistry series, getting teachers to present great stuff. And we also run student activities as well. So we've just had a huge participation in revision lectures where some of our members, one of our members, Lana Derry, presents a whole day of lectures to review the course curriculum for our Victorian Certificate of Education chemistry course. And we train our high interest students and high talent students who are interested in the Olympiad. And so a bit about the CEA, we were established in 1977, and as you can see from our committee, we're a collection of chemistry educators from tertiary and secondary. We're non-for-profit, and we do have Mick Moylan, who is our magic project officer, who does all the heavy lifting for us around all those, organisational and, communication things, and also dreams up lots of big ideas with us as well and puts great things to us too. His contact details are there. Another really big arm of our work, and Seamus is going to talk to this, is textbooks.
Oh, yeah, just very quickly, we've been writing one of the major textbooks. It makes me think about what's in the chat right now about teaching to the text, and sometimes we have to think about often that's what chemistry teachers get their knowledge from. So I guess it's about finding a balance between that. But yeah, it is predominantly where the source of our funding comes from. So we might just go on there.
Cool. But, we are for chemistry teachers, and that is inclusive of out-of-field chemistry teachers too. And I'm sure there have been a number of statistics to quantify this, but Mick Moylan presented a similar presentation in Queensland earlier in the year. But just some statistics, a little bit outdated, so probably, a bit more conflated now. But yeah, we've got 9.8% of teachers that study a chemistry method. We've got 18.1% of secondary teachers who teach year 7 to 10 science, which is our, I think it was mentioned before, it's like an integrated science course that's in most schools, it's core learning for students, and it integrates physics, chemistry, biology, and earth and space science. Of those teachers, only 10% of those teachers don't have a qualification that's in any science that's been listed there. And so they're our far out of teachers. I guess another reason why we're for chemistry teachers is because anecdotally we're engaging with a lot of more out of field teachers, not just in the 7 to 10 space, but in the VCE space. And our conversations with our in-field and out-of-field colleagues are centering around the concerns of the impacts of out-of-field teachers going unsupported in terms of the readiness and retention of students taking VCE chemistry or progressing up to VCE chemistry. So when we started talking about this as a committee, we decided just to draft a format of something that we or we needed to come up with a format of something we could work with. And we started with a couple of conversations with other subject organisations. First, we spoke to Barbara McKinnon at Vic Physics, and they piloted a program, I think, in 2022. It was a really immersive program with a small group of teachers that was a non-negotiable face-to-face. And Barbara justified this in that physics is very much about doing, and for out-of-field teachers to learn about physics, they need to get into practicals and discussion and collaboration. We also engaged with Geography Teachers Association of Victoria, Genevieve Newton, who's their executive officer, and Paul Cross, who's their vice president. They've been dealing with this problem, I think, as was mentioned earlier this morning by both Susan and Renee, that geography is one of these subjects that often gets taught out of field. And so they've been offering different levels or different types of programs to help support out of field geography teachers. And what we got out of that conversation is that really you need diverse offerings to cater for diverse needs of out of field teachers. So what we came up with was that we thought that teachers should sign up for one term and do sort of like an immersive experience. We'd have a one day face-to-face, which would be centred around practical work and hands-on learning, and also with chemistry, there's a big element of safety as well that we'd work on with our out-of-field teachers. We'd offer 4 two-hour after-school online tutorials addressing pedagogy and any point of need issues, and also content knowledge, as a lot of people have mentioned. And we were quite keen to create some kind of social network, online to offer that ongoing support. It's all good and well to have a model, but you really need to consult the people who it's for. And so we, having access to our membership, decided that we'd develop a survey and put this proposal to our membership, but also ask them to sort of, capture their colleagues and send on a survey to them, their colleagues who might be out of field. So what we did is we developed 2 surveys, one for our out of field teachers and one for our in-field teachers. The questions in the survey are matched, so they're asked in, ways that are specific to the context of being an in-field teacher or an out-of-field teacher for 7 to 10 chemistry. And so we let them know what it means to be an out-of-field teacher. We let them know what we were trying to achieve with the survey. And we also provided a link to the matched survey for the in-field teachers. Something to note is that this was an internally distributed survey to our membership. And also we distributed it through Facebook groups, so it was fairly informal. So it was just looking for subject discipline groups, a range of different subject discipline groups. I think I got a VCE biology teachers group, a VCE teachers group, and a Victorian science teachers group. So they all went out there. We do have a very small sample size, so we're limited in our scope of statistical analysis, but we're going to give you a bit of an overview of our takeaways from the data we got. So we got 16 out-of-field teachers and 34 in-field teacher respondents there. Seamus, did you want to add anything?
No, just to add to that, we weren't collecting this for research purposes. It was purely an internal sort of membership email. And also, I guess to an extent, we were somewhat surprised that we had that many out of field. After all, we have a membership of over 1,000 teachers across Australia. And I guess a lot of them would identify as in field. So we were pleasantly surprised that we managed to get that many out of field in what was largely an internal membership email.
Yeah, cool. We did ask more demographic questions other than just what's your discipline, or which disciplinary areas do you sort of predominantly identify with. We asked them reasons why they felt they were out of field, or why they classified themselves as out of field, and it was predominantly that the majority of our respondents who were out of field said it was that either their teaching methods or their undergraduate degree was in a science other than chemistry. And as you can see here, the majority of our respondents are identifying as biology discipline specialists, but please note also that we let them choose multiple options. And so we had one teacher that chose 4, and so she was like, they were like humanities, maths, biology, and English, I think, as well. So yeah, this is they weren't just sort of picking one. So as you can see, the majority were biology. And I guess what this means when we go and look at these graphs that I've got coming up is that potentially a lot of our out-of-field teacher data is probably for our near out-of-field teachers than representing our far out-of-field teachers. So I'll just say a few things before I start digging into this bottom bit. What's represented here? We asked questions around what's the support you're currently receiving and what's the support you would like to receive? Like, what are your needs going forward? And then we asked teachers to sort of give us an open comment about the kind of program we're offering and other things. And so we found that between our out-of-field and our in-field teachers, there was a difference in perception of existing support for out-of-field teachers. And so the yellow is our in-field teachers, the blue is our out-of-field teachers. And I'm just going to highlight like the top three for each group. So, oh, well, this one's for. Our in-field teachers were saying that the support that they were providing predominantly for their out-of-field colleagues was resource development, informal discussions, both about chemical concepts and approaches to teaching chemical concepts, and also writing curriculum and lesson plans to support their out-of-field teachers. It's interesting to look at the contrast of the top three of our out-of-field teachers, and they agreed that, yes, they were getting the informal discussions around chemical concepts. They also said that they were getting the walkthroughs of chemistry pracs and demos of if they asked, I'm guessing. And again, these informal discussions about approaches. So it's showing here that our out-of-field teachers are recognising that their colleagues are supporting them with these informal chats. And so I guess that highlights the importance of our teachers being in offices together when they're out of field. Interestingly, we sort of interrogated the differences. So you know, this writing the chemistry curriculum, we've got our in-field teachers saying that they do this to support teachers, and a lower proportion of our out-of-field teachers saying, actually, that doesn't happen a lot for me. Discussion of safety is a really interesting one for us as chemistry educators, because safety is paramount when it comes to working with chemicals. We also sometimes do things that can be explosive, and we use equipment that's pretty technical as well. And so we've been discussing what this means for us or for the program going forward. Is it that our out-of-field teachers, because they are out of field, you know, they're sort of limited in their understanding of the extent of safety that needs to come over the top of what they're doing practically with their students? Or is it that our in-field teachers are so attuned to it that they're sort of like over anxious about out-of-field teachers not being safe enough? So these are raising questions for us more than us doing any definitive conclusions. And also there's this difference in this coaching idea where you sort of work with a colleague one-on-one to get down to the nitty-gritty as well. In terms of the support that teachers asked or said that they needed, that out-of-field teachers needed, again, I'll do the sort of top three or the top ranking ones.
But maybe just the differences, Linda, because we only got about 2 minutes. So.
Oh, really? Sorry,
yeah.
Thanks. We'll jump straight into the differences then. Actually, I'll just go to the next slide. So, so predominantly our out-of-field teachers were saying that the support that was most needed was around pedagogy for conceptual understanding in students and integrating prac work to support learning, as well as access to really good resources. And then our in-field teachers felt that our out-of-field teachers needed help with safety, conceptual understanding and pedagogical understanding. So there's a little bit of overlap there, but also some real differences. And when our teachers commented, had the open comment, there was a mixed response. So we've got teachers who love remote learning and other teachers that don't. Teachers who want as much professional learning as they can get. Teachers who think that there should be separation between near and far out-of-field teachers, and I think that's a confidence and comfort thing, as been mentioned before. And then we've got a teacher here that's sort of saying, you know, I'm not that far out of field, but I worry about the misconceptions I might be giving my students around chemistry. And please don't be judgmental. Give us real tangible strategies to work with. And so the new things we're considering for the course is that it's going to be opt-in at any stage and multifaceted so that teachers can have voice and choice in the process. So we want to include consultation. It's sign up for as long as you need and for whatever you need, one-off or continued engagement. We'll do our seminars around big ideas of chemistry, which is pedagogy. We'll provide resources that will be aligned to that. We'll do our face-to-face day and have provisions for regional teachers and rural teachers, whether it's that we physically go out there or do a hybrid, and also keep going with this just-in-time learning stuff. And so for us, we're hoping to do stage implementation because it's a lot to do in one hit. And we'll start with our seminars and resources. Then hopefully either second half of 2024 or the year after, we'll start with our other elements. Today's been so interesting because I think we need to refine our approach to do what the TÜV research says is effective for our out-of-field teachers. So we need to dig into that. We've also got to recruit because the committee is a committee of volunteers. We are really a steering committee. We shape this, we come up with the ideas, but we need our membership to come in and help us make this happen, and people to make this happen who have the right disposition. And that's it.